Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Incompetent Nerds. I'm your host, Tank, along with my good friend, Mark.
How we doing? How we doing?
I really feel like we need like another syllable in there, other than just
For what? The intro?
the intro. Like other than like, hello, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host, Tank, and here's my and your co-host are my good friend, Mark.
Yeah, because we both have those are one syllable names, so
Yeah,
it's like if you say them, then it's just like the sentence is over.
yeah, it's like Mark. This is a weird transition. Let's move on to the next subject.
Yeah, exactly.
Where if we were to like two syllables, maybe three, I was this close to calling you Markiplier, if you know who he is.
hmm Yeah, maybe we need a third host with a one syllable name, so it's like one, two, three.
Oh yeah. But all right, let's get into this stuff. So
So I love how we always start at the same time.
yeah, always.
So March is our theme from Luck, but our new theme for March is Luck. So we're gonna be going over some things about luck in general and superstitions and fun stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we get into the crux, you got anything you want to share? Anything crazy?
Yes. We gotta let out some steam in
Okay.
terms of the gaming industry. So,
Okay.
as some folks may have heard, is that Activision is being sued for the fact of both lying to their shareholders and um, giving Destiny away to Bungie. Now, all this came up
Yeah.
today.
So they're being sued because their shareholders thought, they were essentially misled about their plans to sell Destiny.
Yep. And all this is coming through with a lot of shit that's going on. I want to say Activision is also was dealing with not just letting Bungie go and letting the rights to Destiny go, meaning the only IPs that they currently had was just Call of Duty,
Call of Duty, right?
and I forgot another IP. That just shows you like all that Activision has under his belt. It's just Call of Duty,
Right.
and like name a major game from Activision other than Call of Duty.
Right.
Exactly. It's
Can't.
and if there and don't get me wrong, there are other games under the Activision umbrella. Well, the Activision Blizzard umbrella, but from the Activision publishing side, it's just like Call of Duty is their main one, and then from their Blizzard side, of course, Blizzard always has a plethora of freaking games that they're known for: Diablo, Overwatch, Warcraft, all these other games. It's like, but Activision side, after them releasing Bungie and also them misleading their shareholders, they're being sued. And this is also due that when they released Bungie from their contract and the game Destiny, their stock dropped. And when people were purchasing their stock, they started to go back on the rise, and then they dropped again. Mark, you were looking at their stock. What you think about it?
Yeah, so I mean, in less than a year, it essentially dropped like 50%, which is, that's insane for like a $7 billion company. I mean, this is a company that, it has super huge like name recognition, and, it's sort of like one of the pioneers in terms of, video games, and it just, it literally absolutely plummeted, like losing half of your value in less than a year over, the people who make Call of Duty. If you said that to anybody on the street, they'd be like, you're crazy.
Yeah. And here's the crazy part: Call of Duty the last Black Ops 4 didn't sell as well, I think, as Black Ops 3 or 2 was like the major one.
Yeah.
But they still made record, to them making, I think, what was it, 180 million, or no, I think it was more than that. Wasn't enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
even though they didn't sell as well as the previous one, but it's like this is not enough. We need more.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is just like a really, really good example of like a company that just sort of, there's like selling, selling out is one thing in terms of like becoming successful, but it just sounds like they were trying to do so much and, they weren't putting their customers and they weren't putting, the game and the contents and the heart of the games first. And, they might have to pay the price for it now.
Oh yeah, they're definitely gonna pay the price, but it's just like crap. And the fact that they let go of 800 employees, even after we're supposedly releasing, good standings and profits for the year, for the fiscal.
Yeah.
What would you call it? Fiscal year or whatever.
Yeah. So fiscal year, every quarter there's like an earnings call, and then they essentially come out with their profits and their losses, and all of it's public information. But
Yeah, and they came out releasing saying that they made record profits for the year of 2018, but yet you guys let go 800 employees, and they were offering employees to literally leave.
They were paying them to leave. Yeah, exactly.
I forgot it was something package or something it was called, and basically you get your whole year's worth of salary if you would leave.
Right.
So some folks took it, while others kind of fought back, and 800 employees left, and it was from studios and the Activision office jobs as well. So not just game studios, but also office workers as well. All those 800 employees just poof, gone.
Yeah, and it's gotta be so hard to like for the culture there too, because it's like, one day it's like they're saying, oh yeah, we did great, like we made money this quarter, like it's high spirits, whatever, the stock's doing great, and then sort of overnight it just sort of all changes, and there's not really a big explanation for it. So there's definitely something going on there. So we shall see in the coming months or weeks what happens.
Definitely see what's going on with Activision, because they will be suffering.
Do you think the stock's gonna continue to go down? What's your prediction?
I think it's gonna hit a bottom. It's definitely gonna hit a bottom. And by looking at the stocks now, I'm going by just of a week.
Okay.
When was this? This was March 4th. It was at. Oh, come on! Don't mess with me now. Damn computer. On March 4th, 2019, at 9:35 a.m., their stock, the points were at 43.09. That's the highest peak. Was it? Oh no. The highest peak from a week, for just a week, was March 1st, 2019 at 43.14. And then the lowest was at 41.12 on March 5th. Now it's rising up again, and the highest was today at 41.99, but then closed with 41.88 points.
Right.
So I want to say that bottom was possibly that 41.12, as it was staying in the 42 regions, boosted up to 43, dropped down to 41, and now we're at basically almost 42 points. So I want to say that's their bottom right now. Now, if they keep coming out with bullshit,
you don't think it's gonna get worse?
There's a possibility it can, because Activision Blizzard is releasing their Diablo Immortal for mobile phones, and there was a lot of negative feedback around that.
Okay.
So I feel there's a chance that once the game drops, there's a possibility of it going up. But if it's not successful in terms of downloads and people buying stuff in that game, it's gonna drop dramatically.
Sure.
Not dramatic, but it's gonna drop. Most likely, maybe by a few points or a few decimal points.
So it could. It's You're unsure.
I'm pretty
They
much
still got a
unsure.
lot. They got a lot to figure out the next few
Yeah,
months.
because this is Activision Blizzard, so it's not just all Activision.
Right.
So whatever, if I think the only way it's gonna save this company's stocks, in terms of their stock value, that's gonna be on Blizzard's end. So if Blizzard releases Diablo Immortal, not just for iPhones, but for PC and console and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
then the price might go up. Just because
Right.
now you're not just focusing on mobile phones, and you're not gonna get that negative feedback from all those PC players at a PC event announcing a mobile phone game. Now there was some sarcasm, some bullshit in there because that's what Blizzard did. They just straight, made a joke to all their fans, literally, who are mainly PC players, at a PC event announcing a mobile game.
Right.
So if they were to release that on PC and console, then there's some hope for their stocks to rise up, because that means people will buy the game, or if it's free, download the game and just buy just buy some of the deals, some of the microtransactions or anything like that within the game.
Right.
Now,
Yeah, they just have to wait and see what happens.
yeah, it's just what it is, and there's already word that Diablo Immortal is almost complete.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I said, I feel like it's not gonna be great for them, and we might see them possibly drop, because right now they're at 41.88, so there's a possibility of staying within that region. And when seeing Diablo drop, it could rise a few points, like full whole points, but then it might drop full whole points if the game is not successful, as most people say. If the game is not successful at all, that they need it to be. Yeah.
Right.
So we could see them back at 41. Here's my prediction: if they stay in this 42 region, Diablo Immortal drops, I can see their stock moving up to 45 points, maybe 46. And then if it's not successful and it's not what people expect, I'm guessing it's gonna be high 30s. My number is gonna be 38, 39. Now I'm not gonna say I'm a fucking economist or an expert in this shit. It's just I'm trying to stay as conservative as possible, like limiting these points. I'm not gonna be like, it's at 41 and the Diablo's gonna fall and it's gonna drop to 20 or 30 or 10. No, I'm trying to be conservative here in terms of my prediction.
You gotta give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, they are still a $7 billion company.
Exactly.
They can figure it out.
And then moving over from this shitty company to another shitty company. Everybody who has listened to this podcast has heard that my good friend Knight has been on here, and he's an outspoken guy about the good, this one game called Anthem. And I predicted this before the game dropped. There was already a lot of negative feedback around it. People at BioWare, the developers of this game, was very scared and didn't know what would happen if this game was not successful. And I hope they do not get closed down because the game is not successful or considered successful. But this right here is telling me that the game is not successful. So on GameSpot, Anthem PS4 price is cheaper than ever on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So as of right now, you could buy Anthem for your PS4 for $51 from the original price of $60. Now, where have I seen this before? Oh, Battlefield 5. When Battlefield 5 dropped, a month later, and this is just weeks later, but a month later, it dropped. And it was surprisingly, I think it was Target. Don't quote me on this. I want to say it was Target who dropped the price, and it was during the holiday, Christmas, and everything. It was literally in December. Price dropped.
Yeah.
And it was around the same price, like around $50. And then it dropped again. And then other retailers started getting into this whole dropping the price, and that was because I would say that there was a higher supply than demand within the retail shops.
So did they just think more people were going to sell it, and they
They probably
overpacked it
overhyped
kind of
it.
thing.
Yeah, they overhyped it. A lot of retailers bought this fucking game and thinking we'll make some decent money off of this game. Oh, nobody's buying it, and we still have a fresh, 15
Right.
pallets in our back, and nobody's buying the first pallet.
Exactly. Yeah, and I think it's interesting. Like now, since games are available online, and you obviously you have like things like Amazon and like even older places like GameStop have to like stay competitive.
Yeah.
Like games to me, like now their prices they just drop so quickly, just because if you're not playing it right now, then their only goal is to get you to play it, right? So
Oh, of
they're
course.
going to be dropping their price really, really quickly. Like I walked into a GameStop I think the other day, and I already saw Red Dead 2, the new Red Dead, for like almost half the price. It was like $35.
Was it a used copy?
Yeah, it was a used copy,
Oh
but
yeah.
I mean, still that's
It's
crazy for an aftermarket game price that was, so hyped a few months ago, and now it's like, it's basically like a year old game in a couple months.
pretty much, yeah.
Like
Um,
I was used to games like, maybe in a year. Okay, now you save $10 if you bought a used copy kind of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it would be like $45 used. I remember going to GameStop and seeing used games that, like for example, Red Dead drops a couple months later. You randomly go to a GameStop. The price is like $54 a used copy,
Right.
or sometimes
Exactly.
$45 used copy.
Right.
But it's like, holy crap, they're just getting cheaper and cheaper, and this is used copies, and even new copies. Like when they don't sell, like EA has been, I guess they're just trying to get more and more people to buy this game, and since nobody's not, I can't say nobody, but since very few people are just playing it, there's not a huge majority jumping on this bandwagon and buying the game. Well, that's because your tactics and your business mission is fucking over consumers. So nobody's gonna buy these games, and I feel like the same shit's gonna happen to the Division. When Ubisoft
Hmm.
drops the Division, people are not gonna even play Anthem because of this whole like all the negative reviews on it. Folks are saying there's no loot, there's long loading screens. I was talking to my guy Knight, and he was like, well, they fixed that. I'm like, but I was telling him like, but Knight, that's not the point. The point is you pay your price. When you pay for an item, you expect it to be done. You don't go and buy a pizza. Now, I didn't say like steaks or anything, because people like their steaks well done to rare. I ain't gonna use that as a metaphor, because that's not gonna work.
Hmm.
But you go and buy a pizza. Do you expect your pizza to be halfway cooked?
Sure.
Like, you just paid full price for a
Right.
pizza, and do you expect it to be half cooked?
Right.
No,
Exactly.
nobody expects that. Nobody wants that. But yet, you got other people saying, well, you could just cook it yourself. That's not the point. I paid this full price for a fully cooked pizza. I didn't pay this price for a half cooked piece of shit pizza. Oh, on top of it off, I asked for sausage. I asked for a meat lovers. There's very little meat on this pizza. And
Yeah.
that metaphor is for the content in the game. It's like,
I'm just
so
I'm reading about it, and it's Sony's offering refunds for
I'm
some folks.
I'm gonna lead into that one next. That's what I'm gonna lead into next.
Yeah.
But the fact is, like, let me just get this thought in my head. The fact that I was just trying to get this across Knight, and he got my whole reasoning. That's why I love Knight. Like, you know, he could be stubborn, and Knight, if you listen to this, you know me, I love you, bro. But he could be stubborn, but he's also open minded. Like, he will listen to your argument. He will listen to your
Hmm.
point and be like, nah, but
Nah, but yeah.
you know what? He'll be like, he'll still be on that side. And it's like I was saying, you don't fucking. This is why I'm tired of live service games. This is why I haven't bought like a huge triple fucking A game in a while. And when I do buy them, it leads to like the first party publishers, because they focus on, giving you an actual fucking gameplay experience with content, story, and you know, a fully functional game, not something that's half-assed and then will be fixed on the first day patch or will be fixed a week or a month later. And I hate people who protect that. Anthem is one of those. People are fucking defending this game, saying like, well, what did you expect? Well, I expected a finished product. I didn't expect a half-assed game that took them supposedly 6 years to develop, and it looked like it needed more time. And the fact that it was delayed, I think, twice.
Sure.
And it still came out to be crap. So it's just like, what the hell? And leading to the next one is the fact that, yes, Sony is giving full refunds for digital versions because Anthem is crashing and bricking PlayStation 4s.
Yeah, they said they found 2 cases of two bricked consoles. They broke 2 of them.
Yeah.
And not only that, like EA had almost no marketing materials for Anthem because Apex Legends launched like right before. So basically they were like did not believe in Anthem at all, and they just put all their eggs in.
No, they didn't even believe.
Apex
They didn't believe in Apex. Respawn Studio did not want any marketing. They just dropped it and said we didn't want to put any marketing because we didn't want anybody to talk crap because who the game came from. We wanted to show the players. We want to show the players, let the game speak for itself. And Anthem and Apex is literally stealing Fortnite players. It's now, well, from the last time I checked, it was at 20 million players already playing Apex. That game literally, I want to say, fucked up Anthem and fucked up a lot of other games that were released in February. It came out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting it. Had no marketing material at all. And then you hear a lot of word from people in the folks who don't like battle royales or who do like battle royales. We're saying like this is a great battle royale game.
Right, but so EA published both Apex and Anthem, but why would you do that as a publisher? Why would you publish 2 games in the same month as a publishing company? You know what I mean?
Basically weeks apart. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You would want to schedule that shit out, but no, they just dropped it. And it goes with their business model. They just want to throw as many games out in your face and hopefully one of them will make a hit, while the other ones who had this hype, who had all this backing and support from fans are now looking at it as, I can't play all these games. My time, I have limited time. We all have limited time in this fucking planet. And as of now, we all have limited time because our scheduling. Not all of us could just sit back, relax, and play a fucking game for 12 hours straight. It's like, no. And when you drop, Apex, which I would consider a fucking AAA game that's fucking free, next to another AAA game that had all this marketing material, had all this hype for years, and it flops. It just flops. I'm literally calling Anthem a flop because already you have the price drop. You have it breaking PS4 consoles. There's already more reports. I think there was let me see in this article, but from what I was hearing, I think it was about like 40 people.
Oh wow!
Already, it was like 40 people already spoke about this, saying that this bricked my system. This just bricked my system, and it's all due to when you would quit the game. So when you go ahead and quit the game from the PlayStation, a bug kicks in, and where it doesn't quit, it just crashes, and it makes your system believe you just unplugged it while it was still on. Now, some folks were able to recover, other folks were not. So Sony was giving full refunds because of this. But here you are paying for a $60 game on a $400 console, which is bricked your $400 console. So now you're only getting $60 back, and you got to figure out something with your $400 console.
Right.
So it's like, what the hell? And it's nothing and from what Sony's saying, it's nothing on their end. It's not their system. It's Anthem just crashing I think it's
Right.
conflicting with their operating system and just crashing the console.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say I think this is mainly the digital version of the game and not the physical,
Okay.
because I haven't heard anything about people with a physical copy complaining that this is crashing. It's the digital copy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would think if you had a real copy, you can just eject it, right?
Yeah. But it's like, what the hell? EA. And it just, and I would just say this leads into our topic of the day. Luck. Like,
That was a pretty good transition.
this is, yeah, it leads to our topic of today of luck. Is, before we go farther in, do you believe EA is one lucky ass company? Or Activision?
I don't know, man. It's hard to like. I guess it's how you define success. You know, there's so many. There's just so few big players out there in gaming that have been around as long as those two have. So it's hard to say that like, you know, they're never gonna make a mistake or they're never gonna do anything wrong. But you know, it just feel like everything you've described just feels as if, you know, they're not serving gamers anymore. They're just serving, you know, either in the people who invest in their company, or you know, they're just serving their employees so they can just make a new game to, you know, keep everybody getting paid and just go on with their day. But it just sort of sounds like they've lost a lot of heart to what they've been doing.
Yeah.
But
I
I
mean,
mean,
over the years, like this, the founders, the CEOs who founded them, as you could say, they created great games, and now that times changed, it's just like it's no more the past. And EA, who's also their stock has been going up and down. Their stock is, I think, is at let me see, 95. And here's the killer part: if we go back some years, and I know I'm talking about this, but in July 16, 2018, I want to say their peak was 148.73 points. That was July 9th, 2018.
mm-hmm.
Guess what they're at now?
90 something.
95.72.
Okay, so that's like 40% decrease, which is crazy. I mean, you're talking about two big names in gaming losing 40 and 50% of their stock in a year.
From July 9th, all the way to December 17, where
less than a year.
Battlefield 5 dropped. This is when Battlefield 5, I want to say, dropped. Well, more of the prices dropped. And their stock hit 76.57. Mm-hmm. So from December 17th till now, they are at 95. So they basically grew 25 points within what? Like 2.5 months.
Okay.
But still, it's like now they're going back down to the shitter. But Anthem, the only thing that's keeping them afloat is Apex.
Right.
So that's their luck. They were lucky to drop a good game and not lucky dropping a shitty game.
So in terms of this example, what do you like, what's the luck now? I almost feel as if it's just like these gaming companies don't even know what's going to be a good game. They're just, you know, they're just putting out as many games as possible.
They're putting out as many games as possible to see which will hit. Now,
right.
The lucky part is they're still fucking afloat.
Well, yeah, they have obviously the money to back that.
Yeah, they have the money to back it up, but then again, how far would that go if every game that you keep pulling out, it's just shit after shit after shit?
Well, let me ask you this. Do you believe that people who have already bought a PS4 or already bought an Xbox, they're going to buy whatever is given to them, essentially, because they don't have a choice, right? Like, you already bought the PS4, right? Mm-hmm. So you're either going to play it or you're not going to play it.
True.
So people are just going to buy, you know, whatever's out there, regardless of if it's good or not. They're just not going to play it that long, or they're going to get rid of it. really quickly.
But here, this is why I feel like consumers or hardcore gamers are lucky in. The indie market has been killing it.
Yeah.
The indie market has been bringing out games that not just brings nostalgia of said games because of style, but also the nostalgia of a complete finished product.
Right.
So it's like, holy crap, I just paid $15, $20, $50, $60 for this indie game. And they gave me a finished product. How lucky do I feel that I don't have to worry about a first day update,
Right.
or a launch day update? Like, how lucky do I feel that all I had to do was pop in the game and it fucking worked? Oh my god, what the times are we living in? This is not the norm. How lucky do I feel? No, it's because the indie developers take pride and sense of accomplishment.
Well, they don't
games.
have time, right? They don't have time, resources, or money to be sending out updates all the time, right? They just got a couple guys working on a game.
They use their time, money responsibly, and they come out. And I feel like most of the time they come out on top. Send you whatever Blade was on top. It was a great indie game from what was here. $40, great graphics. Hollow Knight was developed by only 3 men, with a 4th guy who was a composer, but mainly 3 men who just came out with a great game with a story and gameplay. And I still play this game today because I freaking love it. Sure. Then you have other developers, just like other indie developers. This is what's pushing me to get into the indie development field. Like, push me into indie gaming and just say, forget about working for EA or Activision or Sony or whoever. I want to be an indie developer, because that indie game you come out with that's freaking phenomenal, looks great, it's phenomenal, great story behind it. If that's what it is, then holy crap.
That's the dream.
That's
right?
the dream.
Yeah, it's all it's just like, it's gaming is like yet another one of those industries where it's like, you have these big companies just like letting consumers down so much that, people just have turned elsewhere, and, anybody can do it. You got an idea, you gotta, have the resources, make a game, like, put it out there, see what happens, right? Because it sounds like people want that, and we're almost starving for it, for lack of a better word, just because, like, there's no go-to out there that we can grasp onto. There's no, like, game of this generation, right? Like, if you thought of one, would you be able to put your finger on one immediately?
Hollow Knight.
Okay.
Well, that game came out years ago, but just playing it on the Switch, it was just phenomenal, and I wish I played this game. I think it dropped 2012, and even then, it was a finished product.
Well, that's not this generation. That's like,
no, but
it's almost 7 years ago.
I think it was 2012 or 2015. No, I think it dropped 2015. My bad. Here's another game that I feel like it should, like, publishers should follow its its roadmap. Are you ready for this? Minecraft.
Okay.
Here's why. Minecraft was in beta for a very long time. I don't know how many years, whatever, but it was in beta for a very long time. And when the game finally dropped, it was a complete game. Very little bugs, very little bullshit to deal with. And it was a live service game, which means it grows throughout the years. And people put money in for it. Okay, cool.
Right.
If you play Minecraft back when it was in beta to when it first dropped and now, there is a huge difference. And here's a killer part. It's still the same game. I just got back into Minecraft again with the latest update for my PS4 Pro. And holy shit, I did not expect this. Like, this was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting this type of game. especially waiting this long, and the fact that how grand it could be, and it's like it's always evolving. And yet, after you buy the game, you bought a full product game when it first launched, and it grew with free updates. And
Right.
these updates, well, free updates to fix the game, but also you could say free expansions or free updates within the game, which means new, new NPCs, mobs, all this stuff, even new like resources to mine and grind for and things like that. It's constantly coming out with new features, and they're always free. And the only thing you pay for is cosmetics. Now I have a thing against pay for cosmetic items, but for Minecraft, I really never cared for the cosmetics, and it's like $5. Now I don't know.
Right.
Now I never dropped the damn dime more in Minecraft than what the price I paid for.
Mm-hmm.
But for the fact of like, holy crap, this is pretty decent. I'm liking this game,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm keep getting free updates. Well, that's the model these companies should follow. They should follow the Minecraft model. You come out with a complete game, even though you're coming out with new updates and fixes, throughout time. Not a game that where it launches, it's already just bones, and then you're gonna start adding, all the other stuff later.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like you getting a freaking full stack. It's like you going to In-N-Out, bro. Get yourself an In-N-Out burger with everything on top, mustard fried, everything. But they just give you the meat and they just give you the patty and the buns,
Mm-hmm.
and they tell you, "Oh, come back later and we'll give you the rest." The
Right.
fuck? Yeah, no. I'm talking about In-N-Out burger, bro. Next time I go back to the West Coast, I want an In-N-Out burger with all the toppings, everything mustard fried.
Yes. I've never actually had mustard fried. I hear it's really good though.
And you ordered it for me last time. You're like, "Hey, Tank, you like mustard?" I'm like, "Yeah, we're gonna get you mustard fried." Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right. I'm not a mustard guy, but I do have to try it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, let's lead on because we're already I feel like we're wasting too much time into just fucking talking to gaming.
It's fine, man. It's what you're a nerd about. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I'm a nerd about it. All right, so history. So talking about luck. Let's dive into it.
So I don't really know a lot about the history personally, but I mean I can talk about my history.
We could go with that.
I always consider myself like, I always think like you're lucky to be, born in the time and place that you're born in, but I think for the most part, like luck to me is, it's us as humans trying to explain something that, doesn't always have a rational explanation or doesn't always have like a good explanation that people want to hear,
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I feel like people search for answers for things that, they don't necessarily want to know the answers to.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, it does.
Like the main example that comes out in my mind is like when people gamble, people are like, they play every week and they think like, oh, this number's due or this thing's due or I'm due. And, obviously mathematically, statistically, that's not the case, but people believe that. And, we've believed that for like a long time pretty wholeheartedly. So I think that, humans like perception of luck is just, us trying to explain the world around us.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about you? What's your sort of definition or history?
Well, in terms of my history of luck, I always felt like I feel like some folks have their own like definition on history of luck. So, for example, gambling or just like money wise, fortune. Luck has never been on my side in terms of that. Like I'll go ahead and get a lottery ticket. I'm like this is it. I'm gonna make this is it. I'm gonna hit the Mega Million. I feel it. It's in my bones. And I don't hit it. It's like, damn it, bad luck. Also, like, during what years, like crap, like 20, like not even like 2008 to 20 fucking 13, 2012 when I was freaking unemployed. I felt very unlucky because
Mm-hmm.
I applied to many jobs, failed at getting any of them, and it was just like, damn, I just, luck has never been on my side. Like, I never won anything, or I never got
Right.
anything just randomly. It was just like, holy crap, I just grabbed this ticket and it's the winning ticket. Holy shit. I never had that experience.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, I feel like I did get lucky at certain points in my life. I feel like I did get lucky when I started going to this school, this nonprofit organization to help me, better myself, better my skills, and then get a job at a freaking Fortune 500 company or whatever,
Right.
working IT, and it's just like, holy crap, I felt lucky. But then again, I went back to think I should not think that way. I worked hard for this to get here, and I'm
Right.
in here. But I feel like
But it's hard, right?
it
Because
is.
you think like you think, it was saying you're lucky helps you sort of define that like time period in your life, and you
Yeah.
feel good about it when you say that.
But then you look back on it and it's like, wait a minute, I wasn't lucky at all. I worked hard to get to this position. It wasn't just
Right.
given to me, or just, it was like, oh, surprise, you're hired. I never applied to this place. What the hell? It's like,
Right.
I worked hard. And I feel like it's the same thing. We work hard, but at that moment, you feel like I'm lucky. I was
Right.
blessed. I got, luck is on my side. But then you look, as time goes on, you look back at it, you're like, no, the fuck it wasn't. I worked hard to get where I was at. I worked hard to get that job. I worked hard to get this degree. It wasn't
Mhm.
luck. Luck didn't push me through. And I feel like it's like you were saying. People just they use it just because either they don't want to explain it, don't want an explanation of it, and just want to feel like it happened because they're good people, good karma, you could say.
Right. Right. We use it a lot to like explain things that we don't want to think about like doing the work for. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, as like most of you guys know, like I want to be a working actor, and that's like a long-term goal. But I have a job, and I like my job. I worked, I go to work every day, and I enjoy the time I spend doing my work. But there's some times where in my work setting, I'm like, oh, maybe I should have gone to grad school, or maybe I should have done this in school instead. But the fact of the matter is, like, I wouldn't be where I am today if I wasn't on the exact path I was on. So it's
Yeah.
sort of like everything has to. I mean, it's cheesy, but everything happens for a reason, more or less, and it leads you where you're at. Because if you spend too much time saying, oh, what if this or what if that, then you're sort of like trying to rewrite what you already lived through, and obviously you can't do that. So
Oh, yeah.
we say like, oh, I was just lucky at that point, or oh, this happened, and so it was luck. Because then it's like it gets sort of, you don't have to make the decision, you get off the hook in terms of like, no, you didn't make a wrong decision, it was just luck, right?
Yes.
I think if people sort of realize that a little more, they would probably find like a lot more internal happiness. But yeah, if but at the same time, I'm not the kind of guy who's gonna, if somebody's like, oh yeah, I got really lucky because of blah XYZ happened to me, I'm not gonna ever stop somebody from being like, oh no, it's not luck, you actually like made the choice yourself. I'm just gonna say like, yeah, sure, you got lucky, right?
Of course.
I don't want to take that away from anybody.
Another one is bad luck too. There's even times where people want to use bad luck as an explanation of something they don't want to take responsibility of.
Responsibility for it,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I got caught by look at this bad luck. I got caught by the cops carrying a kilo in my truck. No, you idiot. You're
Right,
carrying a kilo in
exactly.
your truck for a fucking reason. And
Yeah.
it's just like, no.
My friends said that all the time. They're like, "Oh, the DUI checkpoint got me." And it's like, It's like such bad luck. And I was like, no,
No,
it's
it's
not. You're
not.
just acting stupid.
You're just an asshole for drinking and driving,
Yeah.
and this is what happened.
Yeah. So, um, with that being said, though, like I think there's a lot of times where, you know, when good things happen to good people, I think it's important to like recognize that and say like, that person is, whether it's you or not, that person deserved that, or like I'm glad that happened to that person kind of thing.
Yeah, but I would say that there are times where it's just, you know, bad luck does occur, and those
Mm-hmm.
are the wrong place, wrong time.
Right.
A lot of situations, living in Chicago, high gun violence here.
Mm-hmm.
There are times where it's like when you hear somebody getting shot, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, I hope it's an adult.
Sure.
Sucks that somebody got shot, but it's like, please be an adult, not another kid. And then you listen to the news or you read about it, and you find out the age. 18, 17, 16, and the numbers dropping to like 3, 2, and it's like, come on. And sometimes it's just wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah.
A mother walking their child and going to this corner store to get some, and they literally they was there at the wrong time. They were around
Yeah.
at the wrong time, and a minute later, a minute sooner, or a minute later, they probably would have been fine.
Right.
And that's
Yeah. So it's like, who are we to, say that to a mother? I went to after the Route 91 shooting in Vegas. I was there the week after, and I was there at the in front of the Mandalay Bay. They had like flowers and stuff set up, and there was a mom there, and her son died, and she was crying, obviously. But I was trying to find words of like what to say to her, like he's in a better place or whatever. But like
yeah,
I ended up saying nothing because like I wouldn't nothing I was gonna say was gonna
making
make
it
her
better.
feel better.
And
And it's like even if you say, oh, it's just bad things happen to good people or whatever explanation people use, it's like it's just literally wrong place, wrong time.
you know what it is? The best thing people can say to another person
Mm-hmm.
in those situations, not a goddamn thing, because whatever you
Right.
say is not gonna heal the wounds. Whatever you
Right.
say is not gonna bring back, their loved one.
Right.
You gotta give them time to heal and let them figure that out.
Process. Yeah.
Because for the fact, you mentioned it, you know, grandmother passed away. I let you heal. I was not gonna go and tell you the same things, like she's in a better place. These are things you do not want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
It was just he needs his time. Nothing I'm gonna say is gonna make him feel any better. And there's a possibility I could say something really, really fucked up, and I'm trying to
Right.
be genuine, and there goes 10 years of our friendship gone. All
Yeah.
because I said something about and just basically it sounded inappropriate at that time. So I feel like the best thing people can do during situations like these is
Mm-hmm.
not a damn thing, not a damn thing,
Yeah.
because that. But it leads to like certain incidents, like you said, the shooting, the Vegas shooting, the school shootings, things like that. It's more like sometimes it's wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah. And I think presence is more important than anything. Like you don't have to have an explanation. You don't have to call it. It doesn't have to be wrong place, wrong time.
No,
You just have to be there and comfort someone, make someone feel better, and then
yeah,
go from there. You don't try to. I think we try to explain it a little too much sometimes.
yeah, yeah. That is true. I feel like everybody feels like they have the answers to everything, and the
Right.
reality is like just shut your mouth and just let people be.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, it's just time moves forward.
Yeah.
You know, if we were able to go ahead and change time and move backwards, then the world would be a whole lot different.
It would be a different place, right?
But other than that, it's just like bad luck, good luck, no luck. I just feel like throughout human history, people just believe in luck is just like a benefactor to them. There's even times when people might use it as a that person's lucky as hell. How so? You could say the whole story. He's been hit by 5 cars, and look at him, he's still alive and walking fine. Or she done hit the lottery like 6 times already, and she's just living the dream. Oh, did you hear yesterday? She hit the lottery again.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's just it's like, holy crap. My grandfather, I felt like that man was born with a lucky rabbit's foot up his ass, because he's by far one of the most luckiest man that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
There were some friends and family that would say like, "Oh, your grandfather's not gonna live past 65," and the man, not past 60, and he's 64, walking,
right,
talking, functioning, and he's an older gentleman. And this is the same man who, when we were younger, they were rebuilding our back porch.
Mm-hmm.
And we live on a 3rd floor building, so they blocked off the door so nobody could open the door and possibly hurt themselves or to their death. And I remember saying it right before it happened too, and no, nobody got hurt. I'm like, good thing they put these boards up. And I'm like, because if Wello decides, because he's always leaving through the back, I'm like, because if Wello decides to open that door, he's gonna fall 3 flights, get up, walk back up from the front door and be like, hey, did you know they knocked down the porch? I just fell and bust my shit. Wouldn't it be like, yo? And sure enough, like an hour later, bro, he opens that back door and he tries to get out until he notices the board. And then he looks down. He was like, oh, shit.
That's funny.
So I'm laughing. And it was funny because we done told everybody in the house, even my grandfather, like, hey, they're doing, because, they knocked down the porch in the back. They're rebuilding it. Don't go through the back. An hour later, he's trying to go through the back. And I'm laughing because I'm like, I fucking called it.
You called it, yeah.
And my grandfather's a tough cookie to crack. This is why I'm like, he is a lucky man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his whole life story and everything. If I was to have him on this podcast, I would have like a 5-hour long podcast. It'll be like that. It'll be as long as like that Joe Rogan and Alex Jones. It'll be like that. My grandfather would be jumping from top to top, and you're just trying to follow him. Like, yo, wait, calm down.
Yeah, where we going?
I can't follow you on this road, bro.
That's funny.
Oh, man. And I feel like some people even mistaken love. Jesus, I'm still in February. I think people mistaken luck with also fortune.
What do you mean?
So like good luck, good fortune, bad luck, bad fortune, in terms of money.
Okay.
I feel like
it defines a lot of people's financial life, and it doesn't really come from anything if you think about it. It's sort of just an excuse. You can say like, oh, I couldn't pay this bill, I have bad luck. So it's like, is that really true?
Or is the fact that you spent $1,200 on that new iPhone is the reason why you can't, you're not paying your bills?
Right.
You can't say, or it's but there is times where it's like misfortune does come out of nowhere, and it's just like, damn it.
Yeah, and I think that in society too, we sort of make fun of the people who prepare, or like we get like angry or comfortable or whatever with people who plan for things. Mm-hmm. Or even in sometimes people get mad at others for like buying insurance.
Yeah.
Think like, oh, like what are you doing that for, right? Like you're never gonna need it, kind of thing, right?
Why you need apartment renter's insurance? You're not gonna live
Right,
here for the rest of
exactly.
your life. You know, you ain't your plan to get a house. Next, you know, you're like, then you got some people who be like, you
Yeah,
know what, you're right. I don't need it. Next day, you get robbed,
you get robbed, exactly.
or you know, it's or you know, or you keep it, and you know, like, well, I want to make sure that that's just a waste of money. Next, you know, next day you do get robbed, but guess what? You got everything back. You have everything under insured.
Yeah.
It's, but no, I do feel that is a stigma, and I feel like it's slowly dying. So though, like the stigma of seeing a psychiatrist or a therapist. That's another,
Mental health, yeah,
yeah, mental health.
totally.
Like that's dying as well. Like that stigma of, oh, you pay somebody to talk to, or you don't need that. It's, you know, things like that is, certain stigmas are dying, and I want to say it's because it's mainly the millennials generations. A lot of them are very open minded and want to, like, you
Oh
know,
yeah, I think
they're more accepting.
what we've all learned is that like no one cares what anybody else is doing. We just like want to just all live peacefully and like not, judge everybody else every second of the day.
No, exactly. I agree.
Because it's too stressful, like you can't keep track of. That's just, to me, it's just like so much hatred to keep track of,
Yeah, social media and everything. These people like say, oh, you know, we're lucky to have this type of this social media, having this type of communication with the world and world events and everything going on. I kind of see it as not lucky, because growing up, remember, we didn't have social media like this, or just a consumer version of it, and or even our folks and their folks, and look at them, they kind of grew up fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it's good to have this communication. You know, get the news, hear some stuff. It's perfect. It's like, unlike back in the day where it's like, yo, why the hell is why is there smoke in the sky? Until you find out later in the news, if you're still alive from whatever the event, to find out, oh, it was whatever happened. Where in social media, it's instantly like, remember when we were in LA, we're driving and we just see this huge thing of smoke. And this
Mm-hmm.
was literally, I think when I went over there, it was a week after that forest fire.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, lucky for us, we had social media. I look it up. A truck fell off. A truck with dangerous chemicals, flammable chemicals, revered off the road and crashed and started the fire.
Yep.
And, you know, if we didn't have that, we were going in that direction as well. But if we didn't have that information of, social media telling us what the hell's going on, we probably would have heard about it, in the evening news.
Right. But it probably didn't affect our day a whole lot anyway, right?
No, not really.
Yeah.
Because we went on and still did our thing. Freaking went to Jack in the Box. Oh, man. And also, I feel like it's also making us more numb.
Yeah, social media, of course. It's very shallow, I guess is a good word for it.
Yeah.
But it's just, I was talking to somebody today about this actually. It's not that it's humans have this new problem, and it's called social media. Like, we are social creatures and we want to connect to everybody, and that's like, in our innate sense of belonging, right?
Yeah.
But when it's around you, when it's literally an app on your phone that literally will never end if you never stop scrolling, right? There's no cue for you to shut down, or there's no cue for you to like check out.
Yeah.
I think that's when it gets hard to be like, where do you blur those lines between like what is your life versus what is a perception of other people's lives, right?
Yeah.
Like, what are you sharing with people versus what's actually real, or like what are they sharing with you versus what's actually real, right?
Yes.
And are you able to tell the difference? And I think luck is like one of those things that people have always just assigned as like that thing to explain how somebody else is or how they haven't had something, when in reality it's really just, you know, you being unhappy with something in your life.
Yeah. No, I agree. Oh man. I think that's it for luck. Especially that, March, St. Patrick's Day, the lucky what is a 4-leaf clover, which is considered a lucky
Symbol, right?
symbol or plant or token, trinket. Yeah. I feel like next week we could get more in depth with this and our whole theme of the month.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm very lucky to have you as a friend and very lucky to have you here on the podcast. You know, there hasn't been any misfortunes. I'm just trying to use puns throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, I love it. It's very. I love positive reinforcement. You know me.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. Catch us next week. We'll have a new topic for you guys. But yeah, if you have any thoughts, questions, comments, suggestions, drop us a line at competentnerds@gmail.com. You can find us on Podbean, iTunes, YouTube, Spotify. Are we on Spotify yet? Spotify?
No, we're not on Spotify yet.
Not on Spotify yet. We're going to get on Spotify. I said Spotify like 8 times, so don't look on Spotify.
Somebody's already too late. I'm already on there.
Yeah.
Lying bastards.
But yeah, guys, thanks for listening. Keep it classy.
As always, keep it classy, San Diego.
You can follow me on Twitter, follow the podcast on Twitter, Facebook, all that fun stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, Mark just gave out the great intro with everything you can find, and of course, you can find the links to our Anthem, EA, and Activision stories down below, and also all of our links to all of our contact information and our social media groups as well down below. So, thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next week here on the Competent Nerds. You guys have a good one. Good night.
Take it easy.